My husband and I own a beautiful beach house in the Hamptons. It is a large property of about 7,000 square feet, and that is just the main house. The pool house is another 2,300 square feet. The house has a large backyard with gorgeous landscaping and a 175 feet long private beach. The main house has 8 bedrooms, while the pool house has 6. The house also has an Olympic-sized pool with a hot tub that has a waterfall feature. It has tennis courts, a basketball court, a koi pond, a sauna, steam showers, and a billiards room, among other things. The private beach is stunning. It has clear blue water crashing against the white sandy beach. All in all, the property is a paradise for us. The reason I'm detailing the attributes of the house is to provide context as to why someone would try to break our house down to turn it into a luxury hotel. Due to the location, size, and estate value of our house, we have been getting offers from individuals and large corporations since we bought the house. But we always refused to sell, even for very high prices, because we fell in love with the house and always intended to retire in that house. We spend every single summer in that house. We have done that ever since our kids were very young. Every summer, we would travel to the beach house with our kids and invite some of our family and friends. My sister and her kids, my husband's brother and his kids, and our friends with their children would gather at our house. The summers were always filled with our 3 kids enjoying their time with their cousins and family friends, and us relaxing and taking in the scenic beauty with the people who are close to us. My husband is a retired cardiothoracic surgeon, and I am the founder and managing partner of a large law firm based in New York. We both worked very long hours and dedicated a lot of our energy to our jobs, but it was all worth it because we were able to give our kids a comfortable and privileged life and afford luxuries like our beach house. Although our kids are all grown and have their own families now, they all try to take a couple of weeks out of their summer and join us at the beach house. Typically, the house is at full capacity every year on 4th of July because we always celebrate the holiday in style. We invite all the neighbors and have a pool party in the afternoon. In the evening, my husband fires up the barbecue and we have a large cookout. Everyone brings over a dish and we have a delicious meal before we all head into the private beach so the kids can set off fireworks. Everyone sets up beach towels and we all relax on the beach under the stars. The reason I'm writing about these experiences is because I want to make it clear how much nostalgic and sentimental value this house holds for us. A lot of our best memories as a couple and as a family have been made at this house. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, we got a call from the groundskeeper of our beach house. He told us that a woman had shown up at the house claiming to be the new owner. He wanted to know if we were planning to or had already sold the house. I reassured him that we had no plans of ever selling the house. I asked him if the woman had said anything else, and he told me that the woman was saying that the old owners were wasting the house and that she was going to use it the way it always should have been used. I was worried about the whole situation, but when I told my husband about it, he said that maybe she had just gotten our house confused with some other one. I still had a bad feeling about it, but he calmed me down, saying that even if she thought she was the owner of our house, we were the ones who had the actual deed of the house and proof that we lived there, so she would never be able to do anything to it. I knew that no rational person would pretend to own someone else's property, so I decided to let it go and put the whole incident out of my mind. However, the situation did not go away as I had hoped. I got another call from the groundskeeper that the woman had shown up again, this time with an architect. She had tried to get into the house, but our gates require a security code to be opened. She had then told the groundskeeper to open the gate for her because the house was about to be hers anyway, but he refused and told her not to come near the house again. I decided that I should just go down to the Hamptons and check the situation out myself. The following weekend, I traveled to our beach house and met the groundskeeper. He told me that she had shown up 2 more times, but hadn't come too close once he had threatened to call the cops on her. I decided to stay at the house for a couple of days, just in case that she showed up again. The next day, the groundskeeper called me outside because the woman had shown up with the architect again. I went out to meet them. I didn't want them on our property, so I met them outside the gate. I asked the woman why she kept coming to our property and saying it was hers. The architect seemed surprised at what I was saying. He told me that the woman had told him that she had bought the property from us. He said that she had told him that she was planning to turn the property into a luxury hotel. She had hired him to draw up the plans for the hotel. When I asked him why he hadn't realized she was lying when she wasn't able to enter the house, and when the groundskeeper told her to leave, he said that she had told him that the sale hadn't gone through yet, but once it did, they would be able to go inside. The woman started placating him, saying that this was just a misunderstanding, but I interjected and told him that she was not in the process of buying my house, nor would she be in the future, because we were never going to sell the property. The architect told the woman that he would be selling her a bill for all the man hours that she had wasted, and that he had never wanted her to contact him again, and then he left. The woman then turned to me and started blaming me for ruining the plan. She said that I owed her money, that she would have to pay the architect. I just laughed in her face and told her to get away from my property and to not bother us again. She said that she didn't get why I was just so set on keeping the house when me and my husband were too old to make use of it properly. She said that she had seen our house when she came on vacation to the Hamptons with her husband and looked up the owners. She said that when she saw that old farts like us owned it, she realized that she could make much better use of the property. She said that the hotel she was going to build on our property would be the best resort in the area and that it would make her rich beyond belief. I laughed at her delusions and told her that her dream was never going to come true because she would never be setting foot on our property again. I told her that if she ever did show up again, then I would have her arrested for harassment and trespassing. The woman said that she would take over the property one way or another, and then thankfully she left. I went back to New York thinking that she would have gotten the message to leave us alone, but she actually took an even more drastic step. 2 days before I left the beach house, I got a frantic call from the groundskeeper telling me that the woman had shown up with a construction company and a bulldozer. They were going to destroy our house. My husband and I rushed down to the Hamptons and were shocked to see what was happening. The workers were destroying our house. They had already broken the side of it. My husband went to stop them from causing further destruction while I called the police. I told the police about what was happening and for how long the woman had been harassing us. The police told me that they were on their way, so I went inside to confront the woman while we waited for the police. My husband was arguing with the woman when I went inside. I went up to them and told the woman that her illegal takeover of our property was over because the police were coming to take her in. She started ranting that we were going to die soon anyway, so why did we care if she built a hotel here? I didn't want to listen to her nonsense anymore, so I just grabbed my husband and we went to wait by the gate. I saw a car pull up, and it was one of my employees who got out of it. When the employee saw me, he came over and asked me what was going on. He said that he had gotten a call from his wife saying that these two old assholes were ruining her business idea. I told him about his wife's behavior over the previous weeks, and he was shocked. Apparently, the woman who had been harassing us didn't know that I was her husband's boss. She had told her husband that she had found a very cheap property on which she wanted to build a hotel. She never mentioned that she was going to actually illegally take over someone else's land. I told my employee that I was going to press charges against his wife and sue her for the cost of all the repairs that would be needed for our house. He said that this was the last straw and he wasn't going to protect her anymore, and that he was filing for divorce, so she was going to have to pay for all the damages by herself. When the police arrived, I told them what was happening, and the woman was arrested immediately. She tried to get her husband to travel with them to the station and be her lawyer, but he refused. I was able to sue her successfully, especially because our security cameras had captured all her visits to our house. She had to pay us a very large amount of money as compensation for all the damage that she had caused to the house. The cherry on top was that her husband hired me as his divorce attorney against her, and I was going to make sure that he got the best possible result. I, an 18-year-old female, have a younger brother, 16-year-old male, who is literally the most selfish, entitled, careless person that I've ever met or learned about. He hogs the TV, even if he doesn't use it. He eats all the food in the fridge, and if he doesn't like it, he literally throws it out and is mad that we bought food he doesn't like. and constantly demands either money or expensive stuff from our parents. He doesn't clean at all, deletes my games from our shared PS4 to make room for his games. You get the picture. He is an absolute nightmare to live with, and I honestly count the days to move out. And before anyone asks, he's completely neurotypical. He's just an asshole. So today, little bro, I'll call him B, went to mom and demanded money for a haircut. She disagreed, saying that he just had his haircut about a week ago and that they had made a deal that he'll get haircut money once a month. So he made a whole scene, yelling, guilt-tripping, slamming his door. When he noticed that this didn't work, he then demanded mom cut his hair. She tried to tell him that she's not able to do the very specific hairstyle he'd want, but he yelled at her to just cut his hair. And let me tell you, mom really tried. And I think she did quite a good job. But B decided he hates it, and he threw a fit, shaving his entire head. Here, I'm going to add, he rocked shaved hair all summer. It looked nice on him, and he knew it. Then, if that's not enough, he faked a meltdown. He slammed the bathroom door and started to make, very obviously fake, sobbing noises, yelling at my mom that she ruined his life and that she was prioritizing money over her son. Mom looked like she really wanted to cry, too. At this point, I've had enough. I absolutely unleashed on him. I yelled at him that I would absolutely not tolerate the way he spoke to mom and to apologize immediately. When he refused, I told him that he was bullying mom because he couldn't realize that the world didn't revolve around him, that he only cared about himself, and that if he were so ugly now, as he said, at least the outside would match the inside. I also told him that if he keeps up this behavior, I would encourage mom to only buy him diapers, as that's the only thing that seems developmentally appropriate for him. After this very long tirade, I told him that he would either apologize to mom or I would call dad, who would make my little speech seem like praise. At this point, he stormed out of the bathroom, threw the tiniest little sorry at mom, and locked himself in his room. To be honest, I feel a little bad. Obviously, I can imagine that a bad haircut can ruin your day. But lashing out and cursing at your mom who only tried to help is unacceptable. And if she doesn't correct his behavior, I will. This was close to 2 weeks ago, and honestly, I still can't believe it. She broke up with me because she asked me to buy her some resin, and I did. But it was not enough resin, so she bitched at me. I didn't respond because I was driving at the time. And the car that I was driving was a company car that has a camera in it that faces the driver. So, as I continued to not read the messages, she continued to text me. First, she called me cheap and said that she was tired of dealing with men, that we were all cheap and we don't listen and don't appreciate her. She hasn't had a job since May of this year. When I visit, I tend to pay for Subway. I didn't mind at first because she would cook something and she's a great cook. But over time, she stopped cooking, and I was paying more for dinners. She lost her crap when I made it clear that I didn't like the idea of spending $90 on one DoorDash meal. While she is chewing me out for the wrong resin, while she's chewing me out for not wanting to spend $90 on a meal for her, she brings up other issues. I let her starve for 3 days. She was forced to drink tea while she fed hot dogs to her dog. I made dinner at home and invited her over and told her that all the leftovers were hers to take. She turned me down. Sorry, if you're turning down free food, I don't believe you're starving. When I brought this up, she said, "Why the heck should I drive to your place when you can just order me a pizza? I'm doing what I can to save money. Why the heck am I going to eat at home to save money and DoorDash food to someone else?" I didn't get any dog food for her dog. Honestly, I didn't know things were that bad. Her hot water heater leaked and flooded her garage. She complained that I wasn't there to clean up, nor did I do anything to help her with her hot water heater replacement. I used to do apartment maintenance and hot water heater replacements were frequent, but installing it for her wasn't enough. She believed that I should also buy her a new one. She complained that I didn't do any yard work. First, she never asked me. Second, it isn't my yard, so why is it my responsibility? Finally, why the hell am I going to spend my week working and then go to her place on the weekend and mow her freaking yard? She complained that I allowed her, my woman, to spend her money on a yard service. Not my yard, Not my problem. When my lease was up, she invited me to move in with her and pay her rent. She said it would have saved me money. It would not have saved me any money, but would cost me a fortune in yard work, home repairs, groceries, and DoorDash. I have been saving up for a house. She has thrown this at me, said it was a mistake for me to do so, explaining that if I can't afford her, that I can't afford a house. I'm looking at a tiny home, not a frickin' palace. She decided that my company should be making training videos. She wanted to be the one hired to make these videos. After breaking up with me, after insulting me, my boss, and my company, saying that we are antiquated, she demanded that we book her for videos that no one is asking to be made, and she is also someone with no experience making training videos. She complained that because of me and my cheapness, she is having to sell her motorcycle, the very same motorcycle that I never saw her ride or even touch. The same motorcycle that was covered in cobwebs. I haven't heard from her in over a week. She spent a few days sending me angry texts about how I screwed her over by not giving her money for anything she asked for. She often complained for our entire relationship about how people would just ghost her. I think I know why. She would often complain about how people would not be available on her schedule to help her with her website and web store. We all have jobs. People ghosted her from the company because we can't work 8 hours or more a day or 40 hours or more a week and then deal with her demands.